Welcome back to the Frugal Prof channel on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe because it helps the channel grow. Now, today's video I'm going to talk about book sales because I just came from a book sale. And as I was driving there, I was thinking about all of you, and I was thinking about my old strategy when I went to book sales and I didn't have a scanner. And I have one now. I'm going to do a separate video on how I use it and the best, the brand that I like and the software that I'm using. But I'm thinking back to when I didn't have one and I would go to a book sale and what my strategy was. So this may be controversial, but I'm just going to share it because I think it's the best strategy if you go to a book sale and you don't have a scanner. This is what I used to do, and I'm just being completely honest with you guys. So what I would do is I typically had 2 bags or 3 bags that I would go to a book sale with. One is like a Trader Joe's canvas bag, and inside that bag I would have either 1 or 2 big IKEA bags. And so when I would go to a book sale and I would see all these people, you know what it's like. You see all these people with scanners and they're moving and you're paranoid. You're thinking, my God, I'm at a huge disadvantage, and they're taking all the good books. And I'm not going to lie to you because they are taking a lot of the good books. So I am saying you're at a disadvantage if you don't have a scanner. But the way around that is wait for my video and I'll share with you the scanner I'm using for $45 and the software, so it's not that expensive. It's actually definitely worth it. But if you're at a position where you don't have a scanner and you're in that position right now, here's the best strategy. This is what I used to do. If you've been scanning books for a while, you know which books are profitable. You should know them you should have a feel for it. You should see textbooks, you should see the used sticker and think that book might be worth something. I would go, and with all these people going crazy and they're scanning all these books, I would take my IKEA bag and I would just go and eyeball stuff, and any book that looked like it would probably be profitable, a good, big, $20 profit book, I would put in my bag. I wouldn't scan it. I just put it in the bag, and I just kept going and going and going. And I would just do it by feel and by look, and not stop and not scan. Because if you scan without a scanner, it takes twice as long. So I would do that, and then I would have an IKEA bag or 2 full of books, and then I would go back and scan them. And the ones that were great, you keep, and the ones, great as in they're profitable, really profitable, and the ones that weren't profitable, I would put back. And that's the best way to do it. Otherwise, you're at a big disadvantage. You can go faster than the scanners if you're not actually scanning. That's the whole key. If you're just looking and saying, I can tell, if you've done this a while, you know by sight which books might be profitable and which aren't. So that's what I used to do, and it felt like the best strategy in a situation where you're at a disadvantage. So I will say it again, you're in a tough spot if you're at a book sale and you don't have a scanner, especially on the weekends. My other tip, try and go to book sales during the week. Go to the one on Thursday or Friday, because you know what they're like. On Saturday and Sunday, they're just mobbed and everybody's got a scanner. They're tough. I have to tell you, they're tough. Now I got a couple other things I want to talk about that happened today. Just as a heads up, don't let this happen to you. I went to a sale, after the book sale, I went to a thrift store, and everything was $2. I go to this woman says, this rack and this rack, everything's $2. So it was like, great. So I got a ton of stuff. Go to the register, everything still has tags on it. I say to the woman, I got all of these clothes from the $2 piles, $2 racks, they're all $2. She starts ringing me up, and I made a mental note in my head of what the total should be. So what do you think happened? She's ringing me up at the regular price. We get to the end, and she says it's $38. And I said, no, it's not. And I said, everything from this rack is $2. So she said, no, they had price tags on them. I said, no, the woman told me everything from that rack is $2. So she says, hold on. So she has to go ask the woman, comes back, and the total's $19. Now this brings up a really important point that I can't stress enough. You have to make sure, even at a thrift store, even at a church sale, even at whatever, that they're charging you the right price, or you're in a bad situation. You can lose half your profit when you realize, oh wow, a lot of times you go to these sales on Sundays, estate sales, and garage sales. Everything's half off on Sundays, or after 2 o'clock sometimes. You got to make sure that they realize that, because a lot of times the woman who's ringing you up, or the person or the man who's ringing you up, forgets, or they don't know, or they don't they're not paying attention. You got to pay attention. And my third tip, I went to another thrift store after that, and I almost bought these games. They were video games, and I looked at them and they looked new, and they were sealed, right? And then I put them in my bag to buy, and then I kept looking at a couple more, and I realized they were not new. They had taken plastic over the case and made it look exactly like they were brand new, but they weren't. So that's another thing to be careful of. Sometimes, especially with video games, they put the tape over, and it looks like it's the original packaging. It's exactly the way it looks when they're brand new, where you have the tape over the case eggshell opening. Have to be very careful about that, because if I had bought those games were worth a lot if they were new, and they were worth nothing if they were pre-owned. Bottom line. So if you like this video, just to wrap it up, I hope you like this video. Those are 3 big heads ups. I crushed it at this book sale today. This is the last part of this. This book sale today is from a library that I went to. The first time I went there, it's like a very wealthy area, and I went to the library bookstore, and everything was overpriced. Everything was $5, $7, $20, $10. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm never coming here again. What a waste of my time. And as I'm leaving, the woman gives me a flyer. We're having our quarterly dollar book sale coming up next month. And I get on their email list, and I realize this bookstore is a complete waste of my time, except when they do these sales. So I did this sale today. All these books that are $7, $10, $20, they're all $1 today. So that's another tip. Ask about sales when you walk into a store, a thrift store, or some of these places. Hey, do you have any clearance? What's on sale? Because there's always something you can make money on, always. And usually the best return on your investment is the stuff that's on sale. The stuff that they need to move. That's where you just hit a home run. Anyway, if you like this video, please like it and subscribe, because it helps the channel grow. Have a good one. Thanks.